Good morning. It's Monday and it's morning coffee. I wanted to share a thought with you today that was given to me last week by my daughter. She got on a plane and had to fly to Miami for some business. And sitting across from her was a gentleman, actually two gentlemen, and they had both been through a rough, exhausting day. And the picture that she sent me was of both of these people looking down into their lap. You could see the stress on their face. You could see the frustration and whatnot. And one was a Caucasian man and one was an African American man. And I think the thing that is really poignant here that she pointed out, she said this would be a great topic, is we all feel these energies in the same way, are impacted by them. I wouldn't say feel them in the same way. We're impacted by them similarly. When you're tired, you're tired. When you're frustrated, you're frustrated. When you're exhausted, you're exhausted. You don't have the privilege of being less exhausted because your skin is paler or darker or having more joy or happiness or peace or what have you because of the color of your skin. And it's interesting, this may be a little provocative, but I'm going to throw it out there that this week I also received a inbox of a, I don't remember if it was a TikTok video or something else, but a short reel that someone had created. I didn't care for their title. They made the statement that white privilege was a myth, and I don't think that's true. But that was the title of the reel, and I almost didn't watch it, but I went ahead and watched it. And the point they actually were trying to make was, while that racism goes in many directions, and that it has also been perpetrated, slavery and indenturedness and all of these things against the Caucasian folks as well, really giving some wonderful historical information around the enslavement of the Irish by the United Kingdom in to the point that Ireland had lost its population by 70% at one time. I don't know the year, but I thought to myself, these are the things that we really need to start camping into. This photo that my daughter sent me, this remembrance of all of history, not just that are African American and even anybody for that matter of darker skin has been enslaved in some way. Let's think about the Native American population. Good grief, nearly wiped out by the advance of the colonists across the United States. And, as humanity, we have perpetrated atrocities against one another for millennia. You can think of the enslavement of the poor, regardless of their skin color or their race, by the rich, as a better way to frame this up. I really appreciated that my friend sharing that with me. This stuff has nothing to do necessarily. Let me reframe that. The root of it is not in. I can't say that either. It has to do with, let me say this, this enslavement has to do with power and money and finance and all of that, right? People need labor for their crops and for their industries and that sort of thing in times in the past. And so what did they do? They went after a section of humanity, regardless of skin color, that they felt was less than them. The wealthy felt those who were uneducated were less than them. And so they became the servants at the households, in the palaces. Hmm? I would venture in these caste systems elsewhere in the world, that's still going on. People who are of lower economic status are considered less than. And women were considered less than forever. In the United States, just within the last 50 years, have women been able to have their own bank accounts or buy a house on their own, and this is still unheard of in many countries. And like I said, the Irish were seen as less than. What was the reason behind that? I don't know. I haven't researched it. But one thing is true, and it was the children. The children, they pulled the children in and put the children in enslavement for the parents' debts and things like that. I mean, these are atrocities that humans have done against humans for ages. And so what you pause on is this knowledge, and then this picture that my daughter sent me of these two men, one Caucasian and one African American, both with their heads bowed down and both very burdened after their long day. We feel pain and suffering and frustration and exhaustion. Similarly, these emotions are not a respecter of your race, your socioeconomic level, your titles, they don't care. Sadness strikes all of us. Loss strikes all of us. Joy and happiness can't be with all of us. And it's all about your perspective. What perspective do you want to have on your life today? Most of us, I would say, hit Monday and we've come off of a weekend or any day that is our day back to work after being off, and we're just like, I gotta go back to work, and shift the energy. Be a person of gratitude. Be grateful that you have a job to go back to. Even if you don't like it, even if it's not ideal, you do have one, and many people don't. You have bills to pay, and we want to grumble, I do, about all these bills and all this expense. But the law of attraction tells us if we're grateful for the expense, because it allows us to use our money, thereby creating a hole that needs to be filled for the universe to come in and give us more money. And it's an interesting perspective, but what it is, what the whole crux of it is telling you, shift your mindset, shift your paradigm into one of joy and hope and gratitude. Be love. Just be love. Easy to say, difficult to do, but it's a practice and a skill that will become easier and easier as you use it. So, those are my thoughts Monday morning. Have a wonderful day. I know I will.